Welcome, everybody. I'm Christina Smith.
I'm David Haghighi.
And this is Kelvin Scott.
That's me.
He's a good friend of mine, and he's also a licensed plumber here in San Diego.
Man, what a guy. What a list of stories this guy's got. How do we decide?
Well, I know this is real estate is crazy, but vendors and contractors and people like Kelvin are an integral part of real estate. And they have insane stories. You have insane stories.
See some entertaining things, that's for sure.
I know.
Well, I imagine the people are just as entertaining as the things.
That's a pretty fair statement.
Well, I don't
I've come
know.
across some strange ones in my years.
I feel like plumerias.
Plumerias. It's okay. I get it. Don't worry. I'm thinking flowers too. It's okay.
Plumbers are a bit of a mystery. So, what's one of the craziest things you've ever seen coming to someone's house? What's the strangest thing?
Crazy or weird, and people or job-wise?
Oh gosh, that's a lot of selection. How about
break it
people?
down.
Let's start with people.
They are the quotient, the
Yeah.
intangible, the
There's,
problem.
Everybody at some point needs a plumber.
Yes.
So think of the weirdest person you could imagine in your life. I've met them.
You've been very close with their
we have spoken.
plumbing
I have
devices.
fixed their plumbing.
Yeah.
There are some really weird people in the world, but always the most entertaining is the people who like to open the door completely naked for whatever reason. Yeah, it happens.
Like men and women, or just
Both.
primarily
Yep,
women?
both.
Probably more men. Let's break it
Is there,
down.
like,
I
an
mean,
age
It's
group?
not. It's 50-50.
well, he's a good-looking guy, so obviously he's got some women opening the door naked for him. But like in general, if we took a massive survey on
Yeah.
this, I would guarantee that like 90% are men, because women just don't do that.
You're wrong.
See, well,
Oh,
for
it's
you they do, but your data is askew.
It's old guys and college-age women.
Okay, that makes sense because old men, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're
So
like,
you
I
had no
decided
idea when
today's
you
a
became a
naked
plumber.
day.
You had no idea that you were looking forward to all of this nudity.
I was told while I was learning that it would happen, and I didn't really believe it. Like, there's no way.
I partake
does
in a lot of plumbing stuff. There's always a plumbing issue. Like you said, everybody needs a plumber sometime, right? So we deal with some crazy stuff, plumbing related, septic related. It's usually pretty stinky. And, it's interesting because, the septic tank nobody sees. But like when you're going in to repair someone's house, like that's their private space. Like literally nobody sees that except you.
And I bet they have have you ever walked into like a house that was set up like a dungeon or something?
No
These are the
dungeons.
questions I ask.
Like there's
A weed
the
dungeon?
hoarder houses are always fun.
Oh,
You
yeah,
gotta
those
climb
are
over things to
gross.
get to the bathroom, and it hasn't worked for 4 or 5 years.
Well, but I mean, there's so much hazard there. Like, think about it. If you got a pile of stuff, there's probably rats living in it, right?
Most
and
definitely.
there's pet feces around.
Oh, yeah.
So like climbing over stuff to help someone fix their plumbing sounds like unnecessary risk to me.
Masks and gloves were long before COVID. for
Man.
Hazmat suits. Well, what's the
Mandatory.
strangest thing you've ever found like clogged in a toilet?
A ball python would be hands
Okay,
down
this
the
is my
strangest.
worst nightmare.
The strangest thing.
Because I go to the bathroom and I always check for
For snakes?
snakes and spiders.
I don't blame you.
'Cause that would be my worst nightmare. Is you're going to the bathroom at night and something bites your
Yeah,
your
I
tush push.
just go haphazardly. Like
Yeah.
we as men, we don't really worry about what's coming out of there, and I think that's
Because
probably.
most of the time you're standing up.
But it's not serving
We
us
have to
well.
sit down
Like
for everything.
we are at undue risk because we are not checking what's in the toilet before we go.
This is true.
We just pee on it and hope that it'll go away. Right?
I still, even after having found a live snake in a toilet, I still don't look. It's just,
Well, how did you even find that? Like, what
All right.
was the process
So-
of finding a snake in the toilet?
Something tells me this is a longer story than we got earlier.
so it's in a condo complex, multi-stories, and there's a notice around the complex, missing snake. Help find my snake, missing snake stuff. This was, I guess, for about a week, the snake was missing. We get a call from one of the neighbors that their toilet's clogged. So we go in, run an auger down. With the auger down, the toilet flushes fine. Okay, so pull the auger out. Okay, good to go. Flush it again. Clogs right back up. So after a couple of tries doing this, we pull the toilet out, stick a little camera down the main line, and sure enough, there's a
Staring
Pretty
right
good
at
sized
you.
ball python staring right back.
So
at
was
us.
it like an adult?
Gosh.
I guess it was probably about 2 feet long.
Oh, okay,
maybe.
that sounds
Wasn't
adolescent
huge,
or
but-
something. Well, I mean, it's got to have enough space to kind of coil up, right? Because they're not just going to go in there and be claustrophobic. Like, can you imagine being in a pipe?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going in a pipe if you can't like turn around. Is that?
I don't know enough about snakes. I mean, I'll tell you what. I was considering letting my kids get one, and now I've heard this, and they are not getting because it got out of its enclosure clearly, and then went for the toilet.
You've let your kids entertain this idea?
I did briefly, very briefly, and then I looked up also how big they got. They get like 5 feet, and they live like 40 years.
Well,
And
in
it was like-
Florida, they're a problem because they've escaped years ago and they're breeding in the Everglades. So they're like everywhere, and they're not
Everybody's
Well, they're not
toilets.
native to North America. These are only native to South America. So, of course, they don't belong in the ecosystem and the food chain and all that stuff.
And they don't belong in my toilet. So no thanks.
Well, I don't think they belong in anybody's
No
toilet.
snakes
But
for
where
my
else are
kids.
they supposed to go? Can you put yourself in the snake's shoes for a second, Christina? Please.
Well, I'll tell you what I did find one time. Bearded dragons?
Aren't they poisonous?
No.
Oh, I'm thinking
no.
of
They're
I'm thinking of
dogs.
monitor
They're
lizards.
They're
Monitor
like
lizards.
lizard dogs, and they get
Yes.
pretty big. And so I didn't see any notices, but it was when I lived in a condo complex, and I had to go outside to make a phone call because we had terrible reception. So I was sitting on the stairs talking on the phone, and I look over at the bush, and there is a giant lizard just sitting on the bush looking at me. And so I didn't know what to do.
Like a cat would do.
Yeah, it was just sitting there. And I'm like, this is not natural. This is way too big to be your common ordinary
What have they been
lizard.
feeding this thing?
So I asked my daughter, and she goes, oh, Luke lost his bearded dragon 2 weeks ago. So she ran over.
Thing's
told
been
him,
fending
and
for itself for
it's
2
been
weeks.
in the neighborhood for 2 weeks. And it was just chilling.
Well, that's
And
because
he
it doesn't
came
belong
over
in
and
the
he
food
got
chain. It
And
like
I was
automatically is at the top, so
Yeah.
nothing can eat it. So it's just hanging out.
It was,
Bearded
he was
dragons go a
living
while
his
without eating, too.
best
Do
life.
they? He knows about bearded dragons
Wow.
too. Should have known.
Kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids
We,
like
I
weird
think between
pets.
us cumulatively,
Yeah.
we must have at least 25 kids, right?
Oh,
Right.
how many kids do you have?
At three.
Oh, okay, 3. All right. I
mean-
have 5.
5. I have 5 too. So 13. 13's my lucky number.
25. I'm like, holy crap.
Exaggeration is fun.
Well, what else have you found? I mean, I'm sure snakes are not the only animals you've come in contact with.
The worst, grossest, nastiest thing I ever found?
Yeah, I want to know about that.
All right, here we go.
It's not an animal, is it?
So we got called to a job, a leak in a wall off a skyline.
Skyline down in San Diego,
Yeah.
my favorite neighborhood.
So we show up at the house, and there's kind of
a little hoodie.
a funky odor in the house in general. It's an older house, and it's kind of dirty, messy.
We encounter that a lot.
Look at the wall, and we see that the wall is wet, but it's like a weird sort of brownish color. Like, all right, well, maybe sewage, could be.
I mean, that's where my mind goes. As
Yeah,
soon as I
I'm
see
like
brown, I'm
sewer
like, that's
line.
probably poop.
I wish. I wish it were. I wish it were.
You're saying you wish it were
I
poop?
wish it were poop.
Oh, it must have been like a decaying body or something. What's worse than poop?
Well, so we go cut open the wall to see what's leaking, and just a mountain of dead, rotten rats just tumble out of the wall. Like an avalanche of dead rats.
So these rats were obviously accumulating in the wall, dying for years.
Yeah, a long period of time.
I mean, I think people's noses turn off.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole
I guess once you
commercial
get
about
used
it
to
with the Air Fresh commercial.
Nose blindness.
You're nose blind.
That's just a
Oh
marketing
my
ploy, Christina.
gosh.
I'm talking about actually not being able to smell dead rats here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, how
that's
could you get
years.
used to that smell?
People do. I mean, think about the houses we go into where there's hoarding or cats. Cats are the worst.
Okay, so but if I come in and I smell what is obviously a dead animal, like it hits me fast, and
'Cause you have it around
immediately. That's true. I mean,
And maybe they didn't have people coming in and being like,
I'm having
there's a really gross smell in this
hard
house.
time being
I would hazard a
empathetic on
guess I
this
was
one.
probably the first person in the house for a while.
He's the first person in the house for a while.
More
Aside
power
from-
to you.
Aside from the
So it
occupant.
was just dead rats, just
a mountain of dead rats.
body seepage,
Oh, yeah.
disgusting.
So this is where my mind goes. Kelvin, help me
God,
out
so
here. How do
gross.
you How do you apply the proper premium to your estimate and your invoice?
Oh, you don't. You don't at that point.
Just take one for the team?
No,
He's not cleaning dead
You say,
rats.
okay, I got to go.
Oh, you send in the
You're gonna
hazmat.
have
He's
to
not
call
the dead
somebody to
rat
clean
guy.
this up
No.
and-
Okay. So what if they paid you like 10 grand? Would you? No. Smart.
Everybody's
There's
got a
none-
price.
He knows his
That's
worth.
okay.
Yeah.
This is true. Everybody has a price, but
I mean, you're
That's
not qualified,
not
and it
yours.
takes
Not,
extra equipment, and there's
For sure.
you know like
there's like
pathogens
hygiene codes
and
things
all
like that
kinds
you
of
gotta
stuff.
deal with, They
But,
probably
you know-
had to call crime scene cleanup.
You know what
company.
that is? Those are the people that come in and clean that stuff
It's
up.
the same group,
crime
right?
scene
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
I actually have encountered one of them before. I think they wrote an offer on a house I was listing or something, and I looked them up, and they were a flourishing business. This was before
Wow.
COVID, where you just go out and clean up all the blood and guts that nobody else wants to clean up, and of course you charge a premium.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Makes me want to look a little deeper into that business. Maybe get into it.
Well, my mom, who was on the podcast, her a guy she's friends with, works for a morgue.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did I know that she had a friend who worked at a morgue?
I don't know, but she's so casual about it. She'll be like, "Oh, I gotta go," blah blah blah.
She
She's
gets
picking up a
referrals from this
body.
friend at the morgue, doesn't she? She's like, yeah, they just died. Go give them a call.
But then my husband was like, "What does that pay?" I was like, "No,
See, he's curious
we're
like
not
me.
doing
Yeah,
this."
no, it's profitable. Look, if you can just get the right equipment or the right guys, like this is a good business to be in. There is really smelly
If you
trash
can do it,
around.
I guess more power to you.
No, I
Oh
won't
my
do it.
gosh.
Not me.
Hire
Well,
the guys who do
know-
it.
My wife's a funeral director, and I don't know how she does that.
My nose works perfectly. I can't do that kind of job.
Director.
I couldn't do it.
Well,
Wow.
I had someone in my circle who recently, she was in the makeup and movie set makeup space,
Yeah.
and she recently was hired by an undertaker for the same job
Wow.
for making up the dead.
You know what?
Makeup's
Everyone
makeup,
needs
I
to look
guess.
pretty.
It's a totally needed profession.
People need to look pretty, and toilets need to flush, and they need to work. He's such a trooper. So I had him fix my toilet. Honestly, it was running, and our
It was
water
entertaining.
bill went up over $500.
It sounds like a clean plumbing job. This wasn't.
It was
clean.
the
Yeah.
smallest
It wasn't
bad. Yeah.
little running toilet, and I was like, there is no way that has caused our bill. And my husband's like, oh, everyone's taking too many showers.
Was your flapper, wasn't it?
He fixed it, and
it was.
my
Running toilet.
water bill went down by 50%. If you are holding off on fixing that running toilet, don't do it. You're just flushing money down the drain.
Let's talk.
literally.
Okay, we need to talk a little more serious here. If you're buying a house, why aren't you changing the toilets? They're only like $150 a piece, plus what, $100 to install? 150.
Yeah, I want you to
So for
think
$300,
about that.
you don't want to go doo-doo on somebody else's
No,
toilets.
it's so
Don't do
gross,
that.
you
And even
guys.
if you own your home and you have owned your home, get a new toilet. They come
Yeah.
with all this new internal parts, so you don't have to deal with that flappy, flippy, floppy.
They have
stuff.
really
Well-
cool looking toilets.
Well, maybe you do.
now.
Maybe the technology hasn't changed that much.
The new ones are actually harder to fix. They got a piston. in them.
Oh, no, never
They
mind.
do?
Never mind. So
Wait.
what you want is a
Give me a
10-year-old
flapper all
lightly
day, yeah.
used toilet.
Yeah,
What have we
flapper
come
all
to
day.
as
So
a society?
they make it harder for you to fix so that you have to switch out your toilets.
Yep. And
So
a
what
lot
is
of,
the
lot of brands
best
have
toilet
proprietary
for
parts. You
people?
can only use their parts in their
Really?
toilets.
You
Yeah,
know
it's-
what? Let's talk about this because I want to know if I'm going out to spend $200 on a toilet, what do you recommend I buy?
I mean, it's a hunk of porcelain for all intents and purposes.
But what
they
about,
all
like-
work about the same way?
What about like
Kohler's generally good?
simple and
Kohlers?
not overcomplicated? Like you said, if it's got a piston and all this stuff, do I need all that?
Not
I'm just
really,
trying
no.
to send everything down the pipe.
I mean, heated
really
seats seem nice.
Well, now hold on. Those kinds of luxury features, that's a different story. But I don't think I can get those for $200.
You don't even necessarily need a toilet tank if you got a bucket. Fill a bucket up with water.
Okay,
old
now
school.
we're going back
That's
to the
old
Stone
school.
Age here.
Saying.
That's okay as long as there's a pipe to take it away.
yeah.
But no, really, if I'm spending money, do I get a Kohler? Do I get a Delta? Does it matter?
I mean,
Or
you
just
can
a
get-
better brand, or-
Honestly, you can get a Glacier Base, like the Home Depot brand toilet, for right around $100, and they work. They work
They
fine.
better freaking work. I
Yeah,
mean, if
they
it's
work
going to
great.
fail and not work, that's one thing. But now, how many
They-
golf
they
balls can
all
I
work
flush
about
down?
the same.
That's the question.
It depends. Depends how much you want to pay me to come take the golf balls out of the line. I
Take
suppose.
them out.
You know, I think that those are the types of marketing ploys that really affect some people more than others. Like
Yeah.
when they're flushing a whole basket of golf balls down the toilet, like there's only half of the families in America that qualify for that big of a flush.
Well, what's the weirdest thing you've seen someone try to flush down a toilet? I think that's an important question. I want to know that.
I don't know about the weirdest thing I've seen someone try to flush down a toilet, but I can't tell you the laziest thing I've ever seen, which cracked me up. So it was an athlete, San Diego athlete, got called out to their house, and the toilet was clogged. This is the call. Toilet's clogged. So we show up, and it's the entire roll of toilet paper still on the cardboard tube in the toilet. Somebody tried to flush just the entire roll down the toilet. Didn't go anywhere. Literally, all I had to do was put on a glove, take the roll out of the toilet, put it in the trash.
Unflush the toilet.
And yeah.
So you're telling me that there is somewhere out there, someone who dropped a roll of toilet paper in the toilet, and rather than pick it up with his dainty fingers, his dainty athletic fingers, he decided to call the plumber.
Correct.
Did you charge him for it?
Oh, of course.
How much did you charge him?
$100.
But this is the thing.
Be lazy. Be lazy.
I mean, I think this accentuates a lot of societal issues, but let's talk about how the convenience fee of $100 meant nothing to him.
Right.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to put his hand in the toilet.
Yeah.
Kelvin was here willing to put his hand in the toilet. I mean, it didn't even like, it sounded like it was clean water. Like it didn't even, that's it.
Literally just put on a glove.
I might have charged him a little more though. But I know you got to stick to your prices. You can't change prices on people.
The comedy value of it alone was probably
worth some money.
Wow, okay.
He's always been great with
really
his
does.
prices.
See, my mind is just running with all these San Diego athletes trying to figure out who might this guy be.
I don't think he can disclose.
No, he can't. Of course not. And my mind isn't going to run even if whatever.
Was it a football player? A baseball player? What's going on?
It was a baseball player. I'll tell you that.
Okay. So 3/4 of my guesses are out of the running. Like I thought it was football for sure.
Does it rhyme with Guan?
No.
Huh?
That's the only baseball player I know. I don't know anybody else.
Honestly, I don't even know if he's a San Diego baseball player anymore. This was years ago.
Probably
So.
not.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of like that with
You
sports.
haven't gotten
People
any
move
more
around
calls,
so
so
much.
probably not. He's
No,
probably not in
I would
town
imagine
anymore.
after that one, he probably wouldn't want to call me again.
That's so good.
Well, I mean, I imagine
The eye contact was pretty priceless.
that's right. You probably couldn't keep.
Really?
You have to say something.
Yeah.
You have to say something in that kind of a situation. But hey, more power to him. He got his toilet unclogged.
Yeah. I mean, Kelvin, I'm curious, what is your biggest pet peeve? Because obviously you've seen it all. Like, if you could tell the public what we should know, because, you came over the other day. Oh, this is funny. He came over the other day after he fixed my toilet because my father-in-law thought it was still running. And there was
Because he'd been hearing it run for so long?
No, it wasn't. Okay. It wasn't running. It wasn't making noise. There was like a little stream of water coming down. And so he was wonderful. He came by and checked out. He's like, no, it'll stop. It's just filling the toilet. It's like,
but
but I
it's doing what it's
cleaned
supposed
the
to do.
toilet before he came. So what is your biggest?
And that leads right into the biggest pet peeve. If you call a plumber, you know the plumber's coming. You know the plumber's coming to work on your toilet. Please, for the love of God, clean your toilet before the plumber gets there. Please.
He's a human being.
My biggest concern is that people
I will
aren't
charge you
cleaning
extra if your toilet is hideously dirty.
That's my kind of
sorry.
That's why I got charged $75 because my toilet was clean.
I mean, I clean my toilets pretty habitually. And I think that some people really have a low standard along those lines. And being in real estate, we see it. I mean, we see pictures with the toilet seat open and you're left to wonder what's in there. But then when you go to the property,
horrifying.
Let's put it this way. Human eyes are a lot more high definition than the photography you're putting online. So you put someone next to a dirty toilet, that's a visceral experience. You're not going to get a very big number out of them on their offer.
No.
Let's put it that way.
This is true, yeah.
I mean, there have been a couple times I called him out to a property, and one specifically in Murrieta, where both of the toilets in the house were not working. And I feel like someone just kept going to the bathroom in them anyway.
That happens.
And I was like, is this hazardous?
Well, people
Can
still
you
have
do
to go.
this?
You
Can
don't
you
have.
fix this?
Okay, just because your toilet stops doesn't
fairness,
mean you stop.
That is almost acceptable. Not cleaning your toilet, that's on you. But if
when
you've
you
got
gotta go, you
a
gotta go.
bathroom and it's clogged and you got to go, okay, I get that. I just show I'm a plumber.
That's a very human thing for you to say, Kelvin. I must say, if you got to go, you got to go, and that's understandable. But you got 20 minutes, clean the toilet, guy.
Right.
or girl,
I
but most
mean-
likely guy. Again,
I have sons.
these women are not leaving their toilets uncleaned, or
Yeah.
maybe there's a couple, but
In
I have a little boy, so
absolute
he's
truth, women are worse than men in
shoot.
bathrooms. That's a fact.
What?
Women
I
are
don't
worse
think
than
so.
men.
What?
you know
I
what?
would
This,
rather go to a single man's house than a single woman's
Why?
house.
Why?
to work
Why?
on. Women are just messy in bathrooms. I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
They
you
are.
know what? This is kind of the underbelly of human society, right?
Well, what do women do as far as clogging toilets? It's different than what men do as far as clogging toilets.
I could be wrong, but I have a theory that single women only clean their bathrooms when they know someone's coming over.
I'm not going to lie, that's true.
I kind of believe it.
There you go.
Well, here's the thing. You know,
true.
we for years we saw these bathroom selfies, right? Where you'd get to see some of the stuff that litters the countertops or the floors in a single woman's bathroom, or somebody who just doesn't have people over to their
I've
house
seen
to
them
clean the
not
bathroom.
flush and the toilet lid's open and they're taking a selfie and there's a dookie in the toilet. I've seen that.
That's a whole nother
It's dookie in
episode,
the toilet.
Christina.
If it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, flush it down. Or we're in a drought.
Well,
let it mellow. Never
I'm gonna
mind.
guess that Kelvin prefers the single men's because it's just pee everywhere and it's not like feminine products.
In general, men tend to take better care for some reason. I don't know.
So what's
Take
your
better care of the
stance on women flushing products down the drain?
Please do. Go ahead.
Because you're
Here's
gonna
my
make
number.
money.
Well, it depends if you rent or you own, right?
But
because
when
if
when you do that, and you do have to call a plumber, and I have to pull that out of the toilet, don't tell me you didn't do it, because we both know you did.
Just
Yeah.
fess up.
You're not fooling anyone.
Take responsibility.
What are those
for
the
yourself.
stages of grief? Denials first,
Denial.
right?
But it's a very rare occasion you get that same call twice at the same place. Like,
Because they know now.
You pull that out once, and they generally won't do it again.
And then they do it again, and you're like, there's just a drive-by tamponing going on in your toilet?
Well, their
Somebody's
absorbency
breaking into your
capacity
house.
is very high. I have some girls in my house. Christina knows.
I have
Kelvin
girls.
knows firsthand. These things swell up big.
Yes, they do.
I
Yuck.
feel like I need to have a conversation with you
Yeah,
about
this
it,
has
just
been
to
a
make
pretty
sure.
visceral podcast, actually.
This
You know,
might explain some of the cloggings I've experienced, and I couldn't figure it out.
well, going back to the snake, I think what this does is further accentuates the value of a single-family detached home versus a condo because you're not sharing pipes with people. Their
know what?
pets
That's
are not
true.
going to end up in your toilets.
Yeah.
Well, most likely won't. They'd have to go down to the sewer and all the way over and up.
Yeah,
But it's
theoretically.
a little bit more separation from your neighbor's snakes to your toilet.
Yeah.
Single family, guys.
Condos are all the pipes tie together at some point.
Always
So,
switching.
Ooh, you know, I was always thinking about condos and like, what are the detriments? What are the real detriments? This is one I never thought
That's
of.
one.
Yeah.
I never thought about it either, but Kelvin, thanks
Thanks for
so
sharing.
much.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my imagination for the rest of the day can't get any worse than it has been for the last 25 minutes.
We appreciate
I'm sure I can make it worse.
Oh,
if I
no, no.
tried.
we're-
No,
hey,
please don't.
but we will probably have to get more tips from a plumber in the future because
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
mean-
they know stuff that we don't.
Listen, he's gone all the way up to Riverside,
Oh, yeah.
right?
All the way down to
he's
San Ysidro, out to Alpine.
Yeah, he's in San Diego County, guys. If you guys need a licensed, professional, awesome plumber, Kelvin, what's the number that they can call you at?
602-465-9527.
That sounds like an Arizona phone number.
It is. Yeah, I lived in Arizona for a while.
How did you know
Well, we
that?
got Brandon over here. He's from Arizona too. So, we, keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Too hot in Arizona. Way too hot.
It's too hot here. So, today's a warm one. I find North County, San Diego to be really pleasant. But some days when you get into the 90s, it's just makes you think that you don't have 70-degree weather the rest of the
know.
year. It's like we forget it.
Solar and air conditioning. It's
Yeah,
whatever
and-
temperature I want it to be.
And he works in
Me
all
too.
conditions. So,
That I do.
Well, that's why you get paid the big bucks.
There you go.
well, thank you, Kelvin.
No
we
problem.
appreciate you coming in. And
Until next time,
until next time.
over and out. Real
Bye.
estate is crazy.